Chapter 26. When Alicia woke up the second time, she was slumped against the window of a car's passenger seat, a blanket wrapped around her. It clung to her skin, damp and sticky. To her amazement, she felt alive. Her body still hurt, and her throat was raw, but it was nothing compared to the pain when she passed out. She was alive. How was she alive? "Good morning," Cedar said. Alicia turned her head. It was too fast a movement, and her head started to pound. They had left Cedar, yet there he was, back driving the car. She was more careful when she moved her head to the back seat. Kenny was sitting there, smiling at her. "You're better, Mom." Alicia knew that it was a statement and not a question. "I have you to thank for that, don't I?" Kenny nodded, his grin getting more prominent. Alicia turned to face Cedar, the sun brightening his silver hair. She watched him as he continued driving. He looked different, and it took her a minute to realize that he seemed almost relaxed. His mouth was not clenched, and even his hand held the steering wheel lighter than before. He stayed silent, allowing her time to adjust to being awake. "You're back," Alicia managed. "It seems that I am." "Where are you taking us?" They both knew the question was a test. "To a friend's place. You should be safe there." "A friend?" Alicia let the doubt creep into her voice. "You are no longer looking for the king?" "Those men, the ones the prince took down, they were the king's guards." "I thought you were his guard." "I am. Those were thugs hired by the king. They went with him when he disappeared." Alicia shot him another look. Her head hurt too much to get into the same argument. "The man at the house, he served the old king, Kenny's grandfather. He was the type of person who got his hands dirty. Before I left to track you down again, he told me some things about what is happening in our world. Things I should have seen on my own, but I can't change the past." Cedar took one hand off the steering wheel and rubbed it through his short hair. "Kenny is important, more than I imagined, enough that the king tried to kill his own son. If he could do that, then I have to question everything. I wasn't there for the prince. I let him down, and I'm sorry." Cedar used the rearview mirror to look into the back seat, a deep sadness in his eyes as he continued speaking. "Kenny, it is my fault that you had to learn so much so young. It is a debt that I must always carry. I will never let you down again. You are the rightful heir to the throne, and I swear that from here on out, I will be there to protect you." "The king, my father, is a bad man. He hurt my mother and tried to hurt me. We won't go to see him. We need to stop him from hurting people again. You will help us with that?" "I will," Cedar said. "Good," Kenny said, tears in his eyes, then turned to watch the scenery out the window. "What exactly do you mean by rightful heir to the throne?" Alicia questioned. "The in-between is magic, and we must have someone ruling us who is strong enough to wield that magic. The king has made sure that there is no one left to challenge him except your son." Alicia glanced between Kenny and Cedar, trying to digest the words. Any hope of going back to their home and being safe was now gone. She took a moment, letting herself feel with pain and mourn her old life. Then she turned her focus to what was ahead. "What's the plan? How do we keep my son safe?" Alicia asked. "I have a friend. He has no connection with the king and will keep you safe. I'm driving to them now." "Where is this friend?" "He lives in the city of Seluna in the in-between. It is the Elven world." "How far away is it?" "We will stick to the back roads, and there are a few areas that we should avoid. If we don't make long stops, we should get there sometime tomorrow." "Is that safe?" Alicia asked. They were driving on another 2-lane road, sandwiched between farmland with some sort of brown stalks shooting up from the ground. It felt like they were only a moment away from someone finding them. Her breath started to catch at the thought, but then she saw Cedar sitting next to her, and for the first time, his presence brought a sense of comfort. "Shouldn't we go to the in-between here and make the rest of the journey that way? At least then Kenny's magic will not be as noticeable." "There are no cars in the in-between. Technology does not work there. It is faster to come to the human world to travel between cities." "Couldn't you just make an illusion of a car and use that instead?" Cedar looked at her briefly, then moved his head back to the road. "Illusionary magic does not work in the in-between. The in-between is illusionary magic. You cannot put an illusion on top of an illusion." Alicia sat back and tried to wrap her mind around that, then realized that she would probably never understand magic.